This is Joe Daniels. He's a almost PGY3 now at Baylor Scott and White, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
First, I want to just ask you a bit about your journey. Starting in undergrad, where'd
Yeah.
you go? Where'd you go to med school? Did you take any gap years? And then as a follow-up, when did you first become interested in ortho?
Yes, I was like a non-traditional applicant. I went to West Point for undergrad, then was in the Army for just under 4 years. Then I took I majored in business and systems engineering. So I I like didn't really do any of the pre-med stuff. You do a decent amount of just like the basic sciences at West Point. So I had a decent amount, but then I took the rest when I was like at a community college. Um, I went to UT Houston for medical school. And then yeah, matched into orthopedics. This was my number one pick. Um, I I'd wanted to go into orthopedics for a really, really long time. Even though you don't really, I feel like, I don't know, going into medical school, it's hard to really understand what it is.
Yeah.
At UT Houston, it's a very big trauma center. So like it's the busiest trauma center in the country. So like all I was exposed to orthopedic wise there was ortho trauma, which is really fun. But there's so many different aspects, and I'll probably end up going into probably sports. I don't know. We'll see. But uh, I have a pretty open mind. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's just the general basics.
got it. So you knew ortho all along, but you were a business major. How did that?
Yeah, so because I was in the military and I had time
Uh-huh.
to serve, I did not want to like I didn't want to deploy and stuff like that, maybe get hurt, maybe get like, like severely injured and only have a pre-med degree that I would essentially then be stuck doing like teaching or lab. And I just I just not that there's anything wrong with those things. I just like that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I was like, well, at least if I have like some sort of business degree or something, I can make that work. That
That
was
makes
that was really the main reason.
that makes sense. I didn't think about that. Did that
Yeah.
shape you, that 4 years in deployment, that experience, that help you, do you think, become a good student,
Yeah.
go through these trials, these times? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think like West Point, the military, just I was a swimmer, so swimming like things where you have to like kind of grind day in and day out, just like medical school. Like
Yeah.
it's not a couple week, couple month thing. It's like years of just like wake up, study, you do flashcards, whatever you do, like just being like that's a lot about like just, everything that's hard. You just grind through it and it helps. It definitely helps. And that's what residency is too,
Yeah.
honestly.
And yeah, we're all on the Anki grind, most of us. So we actually have some undergrads in here too, so but
Cool.
a lot of med students. Cool. You said you're interested in sports. What rotation are you on right now? Are you on a certain?
I'm on sports right now.
Oh, you are. Okay.
Yeah, so the way our second year works, yeah, we're a pretty small program. We only had three a class for my year. We have four now for the younger ones, but we so the second years cover every single night at our level one trauma center. So we're essentially Q3 call the entire year. So our second year we just get rocked. And then it gets a lot better. So even though I'm on a sports rotation, call starts at 5 and we'll cover hand, replant, trauma, and spine for orthopedics for the level one.
Yeah, I've heard second year is typically the most difficult.
Yeah.
In general, though, like with residency, what would you say has been the most difficult part for you? And also, like, what have you loved the most about it?
Um, Residency is like I would say the most difficult part is like trying to find time for like the stuff that makes you happy outside of medicine because you need to do that, like wellness stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's if you just purely work, you'll kill yourself. Like you're like you get depressed. Like it's not you have to make time for yourself. And that like is really hard as you go into like intern year, you're like all excited and then it kind of like will start to fizzle. So
Mm,
finding that right balance of still continuing to learn, still continuing to push hard, um, but also like taking care of yourself.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
yeah.
Go ahead. Were you gonna continue? Sorry.
Yeah, and then the other thing, like especially specific to surgery, is like being bad at something. Like you're so bad at surgery when you start. You're terrible. Like obviously I'm not like I'm right where I need to be for second year, but it is really hard. It is really humbling. Like
Mm.
you'll see attendings do things that like they make look so easy, and then when you try to do it, it's like you're have two left hands all of a sudden. It's like it's super humbling.
Oh, I bet that's I feel that a little bit with third year when you go on rotations and you're just
Yeah.
new. You know the least in the room. You kind of have to
Yeah.
embrace that in a way.
Yeah. I mean
I cannot
it's like
imagine.
third year. Yeah, like third year when someone's like you're on a rotation and someone like maybe asks you to like suture in the ER or something. Like
Yeah.
the first few times you're like, this is hard.
I
And
remember pulling out a suture. I poked it in and I just pulled it out right away and he started
yeah.
bleeding because I was like, this skin, that feels weird. But
Yeah.
anyways, that makes total sense. Yeah, but what have you enjoyed about it thus far? I know this, you went over some of the tough parts.
Yeah. Um, I mean, really, you enjoy it. Like I enjoy like getting better at things and seeing progress, and also just learning, what I want to be learning. Like
Yeah.
I feel like for if there's people in college out here too or undergrad, like people who want to go into medicine, it's like this stepping stone. They're like, okay, I don't care about OChem, but I need to know it to get to this point. And then even for me in medical school, it was like, oh, I don't care about this stuff because I want to go into orthopedics.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just like you keep going down these stepping stones. And while there's like good in all of it, but you're finally, once you get to residency, you're finally at a point where like, hey, you're learning like what you really want to be learning. And it makes it a lot better. Like I can open up like a textbook that's super super like precise for or specific about like shoulder stuff that no one would need to know, and like I enjoy it because like that's what I like. So
Yeah.
it's the biggest thing.
That's cool. And then I know you talked about a couple of your hobby. You said you swam that as a sport. And
Yeah.
what else do you do outside of medicine? And are you able to like do those things during the, especially second year? Are you able to make time for that?
Second year is rough. Literally, like pretty much I mean, if you've like, I think like my main thing that I do is I work out. Like that's been like,
Yeah.
I would say I'm like fairly addicted to exercise. So like, I still make time for it. My program director here, like he encourages and like really pushes everyone to be in shape, stuff like that. There's that stereotype in orthopedics that we're supposed to be in really good shape, which, like I guess it's because a lot of us played sports, but there's a lot of unhealthy people in orthopedics too. It's definitely a
Yeah.
stereotype. Um, Other than that, like during second year, that's pretty much taken up everything. Just and then seeing family when I can. My family's close by, like an hour away, and just taking some time to yourself to decompress too. Like I know it sounds lame, but really all I do is work out and study and work. Pretty much that's been this year.
Does it help being close with fam, like just in general, or do you think you're just grinding so hard anyways, it doesn't really?
It's like a pro and con. You can get you not distracted, but like they can take more time,
Yeah,
like
totally.
if you weren't close to them, but also having a support system in residency, just like medical school, just like an undergrad is important. And yeah, I have co-residents who moved here. Um, like they don't have anyone, and like that's been a struggle point for them. But then like, there's pros and cons with everything. Yeah.
Got it. Now I just want to switch over to some advice for us. So this is going to be geared towards med students because
Yeah.
for our SIG, but if anyone else has questions, feel free. We're entering, some of us are in our second years. Personally, I'm a third year, about to enter sub-I season. What are some things that you did to prepare for sub-Is? And how did you succeed and, match your first choice and all of that? How did you,
Yeah.
what was your mindset with that?
Yeah. Sub-Is, so it's still like not every specialty has sub-Is, right? It's still just like
Yeah.
like a handful of them. Yeah. For those that have sub-Is, like this is gonna sound bad and maybe not what most people would tell you, but like a sub-I is not a chance for you to show like how good you're gonna be at orthopedic surgery. Or like I'm going to speak on orthopedic surgery, right? Because that's what I did. So it's more of just like, do you fit? Do you work hard, and do you like fit really well with that group of people that you're going to be spending a ton of time with? And it's like it's important for you to figure out if you fit in with them just as much as them figuring out if they like you, right? So there's sub-Is are terrible in the sense that like you don't want to come off stupid, but you don't want to come off like you like think you know everything. So it's this delicate balance of like knowing and trying just enough to like show that hey, I work hard, like I'm a team player, all this stuff, but not like, oh, I'm just like, I don't know the right word, but just like not overdoing it. It's actually like I wasn't a huge fan of sub-Is because like it's a really hard balance. I do think what makes you like competitive is the stuff you do before sub-Is. Like, so orthopedics is pretty competitive. So it was like, did you have good grades in all of your third year rotations? Did you have good grades before that? Like, did you slack off until your surgery rotation and that's the only thing you honored? Like that, like those things kind of look bad. Step two scores definitely matter. Um, and then also just like your letters and how much and letters to me like come from how much like extra time have you so spending a little extra time in that specialty definitely helps too if you're able to. I was at a program where as like a first second year med student it was super easy to go in and do orthopedics because like there was so much access that helped me out a lot. But programs aren't going to judge you. I have co-residents that went to like UT Rio Grande. Like there's no orthopedic program. So like they had no orthopedic base. They still matched because like their work ethic was good. They fit in well. They try hard. They're smart enough. Like it's just the no one is judging the medical student on how good you are in that specialty. And that's kind of what I tell all the sub-I rotators.
Yeah, that's pretty encouraging, actually. Our school, well, we don't have a home program. We have UC Davis nearby, so some of us can work with them, but
Yeah.
it's definitely good to hear that. Um, to hear that. What would you give us, some of us who are entering the OR maybe for the first time or that are just starting their surgery rotations, tips about navigating the OR as a medical
Yeah.
student? Specifically towards, OR in general. Do you have anything on that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's all about like being friends and being nice with the staff and respectful to the staff. And it's completely one-sided because some of those OR staff are gonna like they're gonna like hate on you. They're gonna like they're rough. Like I have talked to several people that like the way they were treated completely turned them off from orthopedics, turned them off from surgery. Like they're
Uh,
like, no, I just can't do it. So I was lucky. Like I think being able to put up with a little bit of shit is important because like they're gonna play their power card and there is like you're the new person. Like it's that's just kind of like knowing your place, but also like being helpful, introducing yourself, like saying who you are. Like, hey, I'm the medical student, being honest, like, hey, I haven't really been in the OR much. Like, do you mind like just showing me? Like going and getting your own gown and gloves and drop and like asking like, hey, where can I get this stuff for me? Like writing your name on the board so people know, just introducing yourself, just being like nice, normal, like talking to people, asking, making sure you know their names, like asking them about them, stuff like that. People appreciate that and it goes a long way.
got it. Yeah, I would agree. I think sometimes it can be a little scary at first, but you kind of have to be able to have a thick skin, a tough chin, I guess,
Yeah.
even with all rotations too, I've noticed. And what's helped you on deciding a program? So I know that you matched in your first rank, but what went into your factor and where should I do a sub-I? Where should I apply and signal these types of things?
Yeah. Um, a, Trying to figure out where to do a sub-I is really hard. Um, and it's useful to ask like the years above you and kind of like that's really all I had to rely on was like the classmates above me. Just to like be like, hey, what was this program like? I knew because of like my background, I wasn't going to be going, I wouldn't thrive and I wouldn't be doing good in like a very research heavy program. So I kind of picked ones that were more quote unquote blue collar, like less focused on research. Um, I I wanted a program that had very few fellows was a big thing for me, and I think that's important for surgical specialties, like specifically, because like surgical specialties are like you physically have to do these things, right? Like you can be like you can you can be the absolute wizard at knowing everything about how to rod someone's femur, but unless you've physically had the reps, like you've positioned the patient, you've like know how to move the C arm and everything, you know all of like the tactile feel and all of that stuff, which you only get from reps.
Yeah,
You're not going to be that good. So to me, I didn't want fellows like being in cases because I wanted to be the one like primarily doing that or working with the attendings. And fellows can, not all the time, but sometimes they can take away from some of your what you get to do. So
yeah.
that played into my rule or my opinion again. And then other was just like I hate to say this, just like general vibes of the program. Like I didn't rotate here. I this was my last interview, and I really got along well with all of the residents. The program director I liked a lot. He seemed like a phenomenal person, like not just a good surgeon, but someone who like truly cares about you and like cares about your well-being, cares about your health. Like he's super into fitness. Like it's not normal to like at least where I had rotated because I had so I'd interviewed at a lot of places, like in some big name places like Emory, Vanderbilt, like the like all the big like blue collar trauma places because that's where it's from, Houston. They're like well connected, but I didn't feel like any of the other like attendings I could just like like hang out with, and I really liked that, and I was like, okay, I like this. Like I really like the feel of this program, and I picked it, and I'm glad I did.
Wow, that's cool. Isn't it rare to match where you haven't rotated relatively? Why do you think you actually did match, even though you didn't do a rotation?
Yeah, I think it's not like I wouldn't call it rare, but I would say you have a better chance at matching where you rotated because they
Right.
have a month to get to know you rather than like 2 days.
Yeah.
So, and I think I just like they could tell that I fit in well, and then I mean, they still like my program director still gives me shit like if I mess up or something. He's like, this is why we shouldn't take people who didn't rotate here. Like it's just fun. It's like it's just you'll know when you find a program and I did, and I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be.
Cool. And you said you're used to UT Houston, that hospital system. My mentor did a fellowship there. He's a trauma guy, and he said the volume there, it's like one of the biggest in
Yeah,
the country. Is
yeah.
in
Is he
trauma.
ortho trauma?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they get crushed, and I mean, you come out very well trained in trauma. Like you're really good at trauma, but um, I I didn't think I wanted to go into trauma, and don't get me wrong, like I loved it. Like I was really good friends with all of the residents there. Picking between them and here, it came down to like 4 minutes before submitting on when we had to submit like our rank list. So like it was down to the wire. And I think it's a great program. It's just I just kind of went with my gut, you know. So yeah.
Any regrets? No regrets, I'm assuming.
There's
Hard
always
to
like the
tell.
what ifs,
Yeah.
yeah, you're and it's kind of funny because like I do think like wherever you end up going, you're gonna say like, oh, that's the best place to go.
Right.
So I think you drink the Kool-Aid of wherever you go.
I think in a lot of places, like most places, probably you can get great training. It's just how you look at it,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So we want to make this somewhat brief. I know you're busy. Does anyone have questions right now? If you want to ask. Yes, Leslie. You can unmute and talk if you like.
Hi, I'm Leslie. I'm a first year at CNU and I'm interested in orthopedics, but I'm a little bit unsure on how I should go about networking and finding opportunities for research and just getting into the OR.
Yeah. Yeah, so do you have like an orthopedic residency or a program at your hospital?
We don't have a hospital at our school, but
Okay.
yeah, we usually reach out to people at UC Davis, is what I've heard from people in our class with match and ortho.
Okay. How far is UC Davis from you?
Around 30, 40 minutes, not too far.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so kind of I think, I it's interesting. I didn't have to do this. Like I was very, very fortunate to be at a place. Um, I would say, like, what is y'all's first 2 years like? Is it like majority remote? Is it all like in person? How much flexibility do you have? Do you have the ability to like go shadow a few days and like, spend some time in the OR without really overextending yourself?
I think for us, it really depends on the block and each, like who is directing that specific block. Certain ones, we definitely have the time to do that. And then
Yeah,
other ones, like the one we're on right now, renal is very packed with mandatory classes, so it's not as feasible.
gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, renal's gross. I would say like definitely getting plugged in. Everyone always asks about like research, right? And that's like great. I think doing research as a medical student, obviously it's important. It's important for match. It's important to have some, but especially like as a first year, just reach out to some of the attendings or the people in the orthopedic department and just, spend a couple days with, it doesn't have to be orthopedic trauma, like it can be just any of the orthopedic subspecialties and just see like, hey, can I see myself like doing this? Spend a couple days in the OR, spend a couple days in clinic, and you'll just at least get a taste of things, right? that's what that's what sealed the deal for me in orthopedics is I thought I always wanted to do it, but I didn't really know what it was. And then the first day we were like back in person. Remember, I was COVID, so it was January, like January of my MS1 year. um, I had moved to Houston and I didn't have anything to do for New Year's Eve. So I just went into the hospital and just showed up. And the resident was like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I didn't have plans. I didn't feel like going out. Like, I don't know anyone here. Like, can I just hang out with y'all?" And it was great. Like, so many firework hands. They let me like close up stuff, like get your hands dirty. And I was like, okay, yeah, these are my people. So, like, I'm not saying that it'll be like that. And you need to like sacrifice holidays to do that, but at least you'll get a sense of like, hey, do I fit in here? Do I like this lifestyle? Do I like the lifestyle of these attendings? And it's important to like notice how the attendings are too, because like residency's 5 years, which is seems like a long time, but that's not your whole life. Like, do you want your life to be like the attendings? So like can you see yourself being happy with that? And that's kind of what I would say. And then they always have ways to plug you in with research.
I see. Do you think there's like a very big difference between seeing like trauma or orthosurgery? Because I've only I previously worked in orthopedic hand surgery for around 2.5 years, but I only saw the outpatient side, and so I was told like depending on the kind of orthopedics that you're shadowing, it can seem very different.
Yeah, it's going to be vastly different, right? Like trauma cases are super different than hand cases, especially outpatient hand. Hand does some bad trauma stuff too, of course, but if you're like mainly outpatient, yeah, I would say then definitely see some inpatient type things like trauma. or like, joints or sports or spine, all of those things, and just say like, okay, like, hey, there are a lot of these things, and if that's the kind of the route you go down, then you just kind of like keep going in. You don't have to go in that much, but just maybe once or twice a month, just make it a point. Say, hey, like I'm gonna go in and like see what I can like see what I learn, and then that's honestly how I'd approach it. And that's what I told people at Houston too, that wanted to do ortho. I'd be like, hey, like, yeah, sure, go in and do ortho. But then like if there's another subspecialty, spend a couple days with them too, just to like see. You never know. And a couple of them ended up like loving things like ENT or like urology. And that's great. They found it. Um, and I think that's really important is just to like kind of expose, like you're at a point where your options are like nearly unlimited. Just like just take a step in some direction and you'll probably be okay.
All right. Thank you so much for all the advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how it does depend on what we're exposed to because our core rotations are limited, right? So, um, a lot of stuff we just don't get to see, and ortho's one of them for a lot of students. But
Yeah.
um, cool. Any other questions? We'll let you get rolling on your call shift if not.
Yeah.
But
Sounds good.
I have one question I just thought of.
Yeah. What's up?
My name's Anthony. I go by Tony, also first year at CMU, and I'm interested in ortho as well. You mentioned some of these more blue collar, like less research focused programs,
Mhm.
but you also mentioned how research is important across, any specialty really for match. So how much of an emphasis is there, or how much less of an emphasis is there for those kinds of programs?
Right. So if you want to do like a blue collared program that's not research heavy, like I would say mine is at least check the box. So that means like 2 to 3 little, whether they're case reports, like publications are great, like things like that. And they don't even have to be in orthopedics, right? And that's what I think a lot of med students get hung up on. They're like, oh, I want to go into orthopedics or neurosurgery, but I don't have any research in that. It really doesn't matter. Like, just find some research in something. Like the things I got asked about the most on my interviews was I had some research in like pain management with like naltrexone and like low dose naltrexone, and a lot of orthopedics were like, oh, that's really interesting. Like like they know about the orthopedic research, like they're all up to date on it, like, but it's the same thing with like, hey, y'all don't have that much exposure to orthopedics. That's fine. Those attendings, that program is going to have 5 years to teach you orthopedics. Like you can teach a monkey orthopedic surgery. So just focus on finding like what you really want to do and like making sure that you're going to be happy doing it because it is a lot of work and it's long hours, and it'll work out. But I would say like for those blue collared programs, try to just have a couple things on your resume. Have a case report, get your name on a couple papers. They don't have to be first author or anything like that. No one's going to be like slamming you for that. Now, if you apply to like orthopedics at like Mayo Clinic for residency, you're probably not going to have the best shot because those people that are going there are like they're med students that have been plugged into like a research machine. And most of the time, frankly, they don't even know what they're talking about on research, but they have their names on hundreds or not hundreds, but like 50 publications just because in big institutions like that, you just get plugged in super easy.
Mhm. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
did you have a lot of research and before?
I had like only one real publication in orthopedics
Okay.
and then the one in pain management, and then just a couple like things in the works that are just like case reports, things like that. So really nothing crazy. But I knew those things well and I like liked to talk about them, and people can, that is another thing. Like people will very quickly find out if you don't actually know what your research you're involved in. And it's almost worse than having no research.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyone else? All right. Well, we all appreciate you hopping
Yeah.
on. I know you're a busy man, so we all appreciate it. Yeah, that was awesome.